Lisa Mao, I'm Rich Burke. Jade Carey, she of the 2 gold medals in the Olympics and 1 bronze, finally can focus on her college gymnastics routine and not have to worry about international.
That's right. This is the first time in her storied career that she has only focused on college gymnastics, which is very different from elite gymnastics. College is all about perfecting your skills, choosing the skills that you can do perfectly every time. Coach Tanya Tackleton said Jade scrutinizes every video of her routine to find the tiniest deductions that she can rectify, and she still is playing in the gym, teaching herself new skills. You'll see new routines from her, a new vault today, a new floor routine, new bars dismount. She really loves to play and continue to grow.
Jade Carey last week, 39.625 in Oceanside, California. It was a great season opening meet for her. She won all around in the meet that included top 10 teams Cal and UCLA.
And the scoring around the NCAA is a little bit depressed to start this season, which is intentional, hoping the judges can be more consistent across the country. But Jade's scores did not drop because the quality of her gymnastics is so strong. That 9.875, a little bit of an aberration, like we mentioned, new vault for her.
The Beavers are a deeper team this year with the return of two gymnasts, Lauren Lech and Sydney Gonzalez.
Lauren Lech has been such a consistent competitor for the Beavers. Specifically, we see her on beam. That's where the only event where you will see her today. The team has to monitor her daily to make sure she's in the best shape to contribute. But she is someone that has so much competition experience and brings a really calm energy to the team.
And Sydney Gonzalez coming off an injury herself and back in the beam lineup.
And just like Lauren, was a very solid contributor across 3 events, worked very hard to return from an Achilles injury and will be on the balance beam. Her debut and Lauren's debut last week were so impressive. They hit their routines flawlessly like they had never missed a beat.
And they take on the BYU Cougars, part of a revamped Big 12. First rotation is coming up. Gymnastics, one of the many women's sports reaching new levels of popularity, especially with Team USA's gold in Paris 6 months ago. And now the college gymnastics season is upon us. Oregon State taking on BYU here in Corvallis, Oregon. And it's all here on Pac-12 Insider, including Olympic gold medalist Jade Carey. And hi, everybody, along with Lisa Mao, I'm Rich Burke. Jade Carey, she of the 2 Olympic golds and 1 bronze, can finally focus on her collegiate gymnastics routine solely and not have to worry about her international routines.
This is the first time in Jade's career that she has only been focusing on college gymnastics, and it is so distinctive from the elite or Olympic level that she was competing at. College gymnastics is about finding the skills that you can perfect, and Jade Carey, we will say, is the ultimate perfectionist. She watches video after video of her routines to scrutinize where she can make up the tiniest tenths, and also still wants to play and learn in the gym. So we'll see a new vault from her today. We'll see a new bar dismount, and we'll see a new floor routine, all that she had only worked on since November, since returning from her participation in the GOAT Tour.
And last week, in week 1 in Oceanside, California, a nice season opening, 39.625. It won the all-around in an event that included top 10 teams Cal and UCLA.
And she really just did not miss a beat from her last season. That is such an incredible opening score for Jade, something that we have really just come to expect from the senior.
Meanwhile, Oregon State is a deeper team because of the return of 2 athletes, Lauren Lech and Sydney Gonzalez.
Lauren Lech and Sydney Gonzalez in their OSU careers were mainstays on 3 different events. Both, unfortunately, dealt with some health conditions. Lauren out all last season, was unable to train completely, but had an incredible debut last week on beam in Oceanside, and we'll see her again on the lineup. So impressive, her resilience and fight to return to gymnastics.
And then Sydney Gonzalez likewise returning. We'll see her on beam as well.
She used to compete on vault and floor as well. The leg events are not in play for her anymore after an Achilles tear last year. But again, to get back into the beam lineup after an Achilles tear, so impressive from the senior.
They've got Oregon State and BYU. The Cougars part of a revamped Big 12. Cougars will be on bars and the Beavers on vault when we return for rotation 1. Oregon State's first of 5 home meets this year here at Gill Coliseum, and they pack them in. Gymnastics across the country growing in popularity, and certainly here at Oregon State, where they got the message a long time ago. And they get to see Olympic gold medalist Jade Carey. Her head coach is Tanya Chaplin. In her 28th year, still has the same enthusiasm as when she began. 2022 Pac-12 Coach of the Year, won it for the 6th time. Led her team to regionals every year of her career, and to nationals 13 times in 27 years. And on the other side for BYU, their head coach is Gard Young. In his 10th year, was a gymnast at BYU, 1996 to 2000. Member of the BYU Hall of Fame, won a pair of national championships on vault, 1999 and 2000, and an Olympic silver medalist himself. Won a team silver with the U.S. at the Athens Games in 2004. His Cougars will begin on bars, and the Beavers will begin on vault. Oregon State had the 9th best overall score in the country, 195.775 in week 1, and they were 11th best on vault with a score of 48.825.
This is an event where it's all about what your start value is. Half of the Beaver lineup today, we think will be doing the 10.0 start value, others at 9.95. For the Cougars, on the other hand, they just have one, and so it's a really differentiating event, an important one to start on and work on those landings. I find it to be the most crucial event over balance beam. Hitting vault, to me, is a differentiator.
And that's different than the way it used to be because of the start value changes. Now we notice Olivia Buckner listed as having a 10.0 start value. We'll see if she uses it. She may go with that 1.5 or maybe just a full.
Yeah, Coach Chaplin talked about it's a risk-reward decision, because if you nail the 1.5, if you can find that forward landing, you will get the big score. But a harder vault means there's much more margin for error. And so Olivia can do a beautiful full, find the landing, and perhaps score the same as she would for a 1.5 with a step.
Now we just saw Jade Carey in her final vault warm-up. Oregon State getting set to go in an event where last year they finished the season ranked 17th in the country. And again, they had the 11th best score in week 1. Now for BYU, this is their week 1. They last year finished 32nd overall. And in fact, BYU, pardon me, last week they opened up the season in Nashville in week 1 with a 194.625. They had the 22nd best score in the nation last year in week 1. And on bars, their new bars coach is Ward Allen. He's standing in the blue polo to the right of the screen a moment ago. Allen taking over on bars as Gard Young gave that up.
And Gard was really reticent to give that up. It was his baby. It's the Cougars' best event where they've scored the highest thus far.
Here is Natalie Briones, the senior from Gilbert, Arizona. We'll see her on vault and bars. In week 1, posted a 9.675, her career high 9.875, looking for a bit of a bounce back from week 1.
She will start with that Yurchenko full 9.5 start value. Very clean. Just a small slide on the landing, should be around 1/10. It's just a very easy and clean vault for her. A great lead off, starts them off very consistently.
The reason for the 9.95 start value, those 5/100s make all the difference, is it's not a blind landing.
And, you know, gymnastics comes down to the smallest of tenths of a point and half-tenths of a point. And so that small slide, very important.
Now Melissa Earl, who will lead off the bars rotation for BYU, put up a 9.7 on bars in week 1. A senior from St. George, Utah. It's her career high last week.
And unfortunately did not get her dowel on top of the bar. This is not an event that she has spent much time on. Though she is a senior, she made just her career debut last week. And so bar is an event that they had to replace 3 athletes from graduating seniors, and you'll see that between bar release quite often. It's almost become a compulsory move, but it has been, the connection value has been adjusted this year, so you have to add in a circle before, and this connection is imperative to her start value, so she needs to start over. Just shake it off like that didn't happen.
They have the 15th best score in the nation in week 1 on bars, and In each rotation, 6 gymnasts go, and you count your 5 best scores. So this puts a pressure on the other 5 gymnasts in this rotation not to have a fall. Otherwise, they'll have to count one.
A little labored on that handstand. She'll close with a double layout. Says it's her favorite element to compete. And a very solid closing dismount there. Just that hop forward. But like you said, that will be the score the team hopes to drop.
Well, Melissa Earl, not her best and clearly not happy about it. We'll see her again on vault. 9.75 for Natalie Briones, and that was better than her week 1. And now Olivia Buckner, is she going to go with the blind landing?
I think this is just going to be a very nice full from her.
9.95 start value.
Good decision by the coaches. Coach Brian Carey there, you see him, his 2nd season on the squad. It's just a very clean vault. You can see that she does have the potential to do the half, but Brian Carey has an equation for what vault goes in the lineup. In addition to the feeling of the warm-up, they have to hit a certain number each week to really feel comfortable. The numbers in practice and then the numbers in competition are so important, which is why exhibition spots are really valued. We'll see a few of those later tonight.
After all the competitive gymnasts go in each rotation, we'll see an exhibition or 2 from an Oregon State athlete. Still waiting on the score for Melissa Earl as Alila Alvarado gets set to go. The sophomore from Rancho Cucamonga, California, was in the bars lineup only in week 1, making her BYU debut and carding a 9.725. Her sister Anissa was a 5-year starter in bars and was their rock, but she graduated last year. They're hoping Alila is ready to take the mantle. So here she is after the 9-1 for Melissa Earl.
Big shoes to fill from her sister in a pressure-packed situation after a fall. She has nearly the exact same bar routine that you will see we just saw from Melissa Earl. It's her toe on. She will do her Maloney, nice catch. And the bail handstand, beautiful positions.
Nice work on getting the vertical, especially the first 2 times.
That one as well. Love the stretch all the way through her toe point. Here's her double layout. Nice and floaty. Finds the landing. Great recovery from the young sophomore.
Alila Alvarado, I'm sure Anissa is smiling. Maybe indeed she is ready to take the mantle as the rock on bars for the Cougars.
Richard, you mentioned those all-important handstand positions. You want to be as close to vertical as possible. They can be within 10 degrees, 20 on that big release move bail there. And that's a great job for her, holding the landing, clicking those heels together for the stick.
Well done, Alila Alvarado, sophomore for BYU. Sage Thompson up next after the 9.7 for Olivia Buckner. And now, Sage Thompson notched to 9.75 last week in week 1. Been in all but 1 vault lineup.
And essentially, she stuck that vault in my mind. Just a tiny movement of her heels. She stuck last week as well. Very, very clean vaulter. That's sort of the story for her gymnastics overall. She has phenomenal technique, great push, nice body position.
Is that an improvement on her 9.75 from last week?
So I thought the judging on vault in particular last week was very, very tight. So I think it looked quite similar to that vault from last week, and we'll see where these judges land. The hope is that they can be consistent, and they will. It'll go the same 9.75 that she went last week.
A 9.8 for Alila Alvarado, 3/4 of a tenth better than her first go-round the previous week. And now here is Ava Jorgensen, was in 2 events in week 1, likewise here in week 2. Posted a career-high 9.85 in week 1 in Nashville.
And a beautiful ray, difficult same bar release, a little shy on the handstand coming out of it. But a very nice bail. She was a 2-time DP national champion on bars. Really exceptional swinger. She will also close with a double layout. Good difficulty in all these dismounts. Awesome save on that stick. Really, really good job.
And you called it a save. Why?
Because she could tell her knees got over her toes, which means it's really easy at that point to take a hop forward Let's take a look here. Let go just a tiny bit too early. You could see she had to really absorb the landing. That's why bending your knees when you land is so important, because it allows you control all of that momentum.
Ava Jorgensen, the sophomore from Chandler, Arizona, fun to watch in her bars routine. Thompson matched her 9.75 from week 1, and now here is Sophia Esposito. Going fourth in the lineup for Oregon State. Didn't compete on vault last week in the season's first meet. Last year was in every vault lineup, 5 times posting a 9.9.
She's got great power. Her lift on that vault really differentiated from the first 3 in the lineup. Got a lot more distance, good height. I would expect that to be at least a half a tenth higher, if not a full tenth.
Little half hop, college stick here.
That, I think, if your hop is as big as your shoulders are wide, which is very hard to, obviously, we don't have a ruler out there, that can be up to 2 tenths. So really interesting to see what the judges will do there, because it was superior in the air to the previous 3 athletes.
9.775 for Ava Jorgensen. And now here is Maya Kirkham. She and Kylie Quinto expected to do the all-around today for BYU. Kirkham had a nice 9.825 in week 1. She did 3 events last week in Nashville, vault, bars, and beam, getting ready for the all-around. She'll do the floor this week as well. Redshirt freshman from Alpine, Utah, north of Provo, about 18 miles from the BYU campus.
A little hips closed on both of those handstands, but better on the bail. Not sure if that was within the 10 degrees of vertical. But very good stretched position in the double out, just the step back.
Didn't quite get to the vertical that Elila Alvarado did.
Yeah, missed those handstands a couple times. I'll start with the one on the very top. This is one you can be a little bit tighter on, or gymnasts can tend to be. Both of those, you want to have your body stretched. You want to hold a pencil on top of the bar and be as close to that as possible. I'm really impressed, though. She competed just 1 meet last season, then was injured, and so has spent the offseason both recovering and then to make her way into 4 lineups and fill a spot on bars that they really needed with those graduating seniors. The last 3 underclassmen really delivered very solid routines.
9.775 for Esposito in her first vault of the year, and now here is Caitlin Garcia. Plans to go with a 10.0 start value, 5th in the vault lineup last week with a 9.75.
Check out her forward landing here. Nicely done. That big step to the side and then also over the line. The over the line doesn't actually get a specific deduction, but it does indicate to the judges that she was off center.
And the lines are a recent addition.
The lines are a recent addition as of last year, more just to help the judges with an indication of where they are. As the judges sit on the side, it can be harder to gauge that. But she didn't quite get enough height. She got a good amount of distance on that. Shoulders were a little bit closed on the table. But again, it's important to get competitive experience on that vault. Caitlin competed mostly a full last season and before that, so nice to see them continue to grow in their careers.
9.775 for Maya Kirkham, half a tenth off her score from week 1. And now here is Kylie Quinto. Last week put up a 9.8. They call her the mother hen of the team, helping everyone out, part of their leadership council. She too expected to do the all-around today. And starts off going to vertical a couple of times.
Yeah, and she's a little bit taller, which can be so beautiful, especially in that beautiful pack salto on bars. Good position. You could hear the gymnast cheered a little bit louder on that half pirouette. A lot harder than it looks to finish in handstand. And a tall gymnast like her makes that double layout look beautiful.
So far, so good for the Cougars after the initial fall from Gymnast 1. They've had 4 hits since. They need 1 more to avoid counting a fall.
Yeah, they've really seemed to have moved on well from that. But we talk about her height and what makes that double layout look even harder. Slides backwards. but a great debut for her.
So Garcia with the 10-0 start value, 9.675, 3/4 of a tenth off of last week. And now here is Jade Carey, the 3-time Olympic medalist. First of 4 times we will see her this afternoon.
And just the second time in her career, elite or college, she's competed this 1.5. Exceptional. Just
the height is amazing.
It is so different, and we're sitting quite close to the vault, but you can hear her block in a different way from anyone else. The block is the most important part of your vault. The entry has to be good for it, and hers is just textbook. So high, has to really open up to find the landing there, but I mean, she completes the whole twist above the vault level here. I love this shot because you can just see how high she is and just the tiniest of hops forward.
It's like they used to say when Henry Aaron or Barry Bonds hit the baseball, or when Lawrence Taylor made a hit. When she hits that vault, it just sounds different.
It sounds different. It just looks pure, like it should look. And she used to compete in the elite level at 2.5, so she added a full extra turn and had to learn completely new technique for that 1.5.
Crowd applauded as Jade Carey was given a 9.9 on her vault. And now here is Anna Bramlett-Wild, who will wrap up the official part of rotation 1. And her lone routine last week had a 9.75 in Nashville.
Big release off the top. Unfortunately, could not get her grips around the bar on that ray.
And you're looking for your anchor to come through, especially after a fall earlier. They had a fall in Gymnast 1, Melissa Earl, and then 4 hits, and now Bramlett-Wild goes down.
Yep, and it looked like so her hands hit the bar, right? But your grip that they're wearing has what's a dowel in it. It's a piece of wood at the top that slides through your fingers, and if you do not get that over the top of the bar, you will ping off like she just did. But like Melissa Earl, she has to repeat the entire series. So we'll see her. I bet she catches it this time. Beautiful connection into the overshoot.
Lisa, your heart has to be racing at this point.
You're tired, you have adrenaline, you're mentally a little bit thrown off. Exactly. And so you can see her potential on bars is so high. She's been a mainstay in that lineup for them, but obviously not the bar lineup that they hope to use to start this meet with counting a fall.
That is her only routine that we'll see today.
This is an exhibition for Carly Chavez, and she nails it.
Has a ball with a 10-0 start value. Didn't use it today. Got off the vault lineup last week in week 1.
She did compete last week in week 1. Sofia Esposito took her spot today, but clearly showing the depth that the Beavers have to be able to nail that landing. And she's making sure the judges know that she nailed that. Great exclamation point for them on their rotation, even though it wasn't a counting score.
Jade Carey with that 9.9 on vault. They can draw a red line through Caitlin Garcia. So 48.875 for Oregon State. That's half a tenth better than last week in Oceanside. So continuing to get better and better. Last week they were 11th in the country in week 1 in vault, and even better this week.
And I find that the top of the lineup, it looks like they're judging that full a little bit tighter across the lineup this season. I would have thought Esposito's score would have been higher because of how much height and repulsion she got. But, you know, we're sitting here. The judges are sitting there for a reason.
And even the judges don't agree on things most of the time, and sometimes they're looking at things from different angles.
Exactly. A new change this year as well is that if the score is 9-8 or above, the judges have to be within 1/10 of each other, or they have to conference. Fortunately, that did not happen on vault, but there were very few rule changes actually in the off season, that being one of them. The other significant one being that the judges will be evaluated differently this year.
9.25 for Anna Bramlett-Wild, and they have to count that because of the first fall by Melissa Earl. So 48.375, a disappointing beginning on bars. That's about 0.6 worse than week 1 in Nashville.
And they, really you can see the middle of that lineup. Those are their underclassmen. So the future is bright for them. Just got to shore up those 2 positions, top and bottom, and Melissa Earl has to shake that off. She's got other lineups to participate in for the duration of this meet.
Yep. We'll see Melissa on vault as well. And as far as Anna Bramlett-Wild goes, that's the last time we expect to see her today.
Like many sports, you got to have a short memory in gymnastics.
So 1 rotation in the books, and Oregon State with a commanding lead after Brigham Young having to count for fall. Here at Gill Coliseum, just celebrating its 75th anniversary. Legendary building, opened up late in 1949, and another great crowd on hand. This is filled to the rafters.
Yeah, Tanya Chaplin mentioned it's the 4th straight year of record season ticket sales. That's a refrain we've heard across the country. The interest in women's gymnastics, like you mentioned off the top, just growing. And BYU coach Guard Young said they were so excited to come to Gill Coliseum. It's not a matchup they're used to. BYU in a new conference last year, and we're really excited about coming to this historic place with a very strong, knowledgeable gymnastics fan base.
And they're led by Coach Tanya Chaplin in her 28th season, 2022 Pac-12 Coach of the Year, winning it for the 6th time. 6 years ago, had their best ever finish at Nationals under Tanya. That was 6th place, and that is the goal, top 8. And Tanya, your thoughts so far, rotation 1 here in week 2.
Well, I really like the improvements that we showed on vault. They were going for landings a little bit more, so that was great to see. Yeah, each one of them improved from last week, and you always want to see that climb week after week.
What do you expect out of the bar lineup today, Tanya?
We're just talking about breathe, compete the way they want to compete. They show some beautiful sets all the time in practice. Now we want to see that translate to competition.
Tanya, I'm so impressed with you as a coach because you're not myopic. A lot of coaches, they only concern themselves with what's best for this team today to win this meet, to get as high as we can. You in your career have taken a broader look, and you did that with Jade Carey last year. You said, hey, we're going to pull her out because of what she has to do in the spring and summer. Kudos to you for looking at your athletes and their best interests.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's something that we always strive for. You have to have growth throughout, and I think that's what's going to get us where we need to be in the end.
All right, well, looking forward to rotation 2, and good luck.
Thank you.
All right, that's Tanya Chaplin, head coach of the Oregon State Beavers. Yeah, really impressive last year. She would pull Jade from lineups. When she wanted to be in there, she said, hey, you got international stuff and the Olympics coming up. Beavers lead after 1 rotation.